And it is 9 o'clock, and it's Live at 9 with James Phillips here on WJLX 101.5 FM this morning. I've got a couple special guests. Miss Tina Aaron, she's the founder. And what's your other title? It's founder and
co-founder. Anthony Stellers is my partner and program director.
Okay, of HEART. And tell us what HEART stands for.
Healing and Responding to Trauma.
Awesome. And you can introduce your guest that you brought with us.
I have brought with me today Alexander Young, and he's one of our wonderful counselors.
Awesome. And for people who don't know what HEART is, just go ahead and tell us, what does HEART do in the community?
HEART is a nonprofit, and we do counseling for kids that are 14 and older. So we do individuals, families, we do group counseling, support groups, anybody that's about 4 years old is about as young as we go, but we've even had great-grandparents come in. So we do a lot of counseling. We have 6 licensed therapists, and we also do stuff in the schools. We have a program that Linda Sides operates, and we can go and do behavioral things with kids in schools, get referrals. We can also do therapy in the schools. We have our licensed therapists that go in the schools if kids can't come to us through the day, which we do prefer to see them in the office if we can. We have
Right.
after-school appointments and weekend appointments and things like that. But if it just can't work, we do have therapists, one of which is Alexander's wife, is one of our therapists, and she is one of our main therapists that goes in the schools. We also do a juvenile justice program, so the kids that come through juvenile court that are on probation are teenagers. We have a pretty large group of kids that we see through juvenile court. And we also have other counties that we're working in now. We're doing some in Coleman. Our juvenile program is in Coleman, and we're doing some school-based services in Winston County. We also do work with DHR and just different referrals. So we do stuff with foster children. We can do in-home. We can do parenting. Basically, because it's just us, we can, if there's a need, we can kind of figure out a way to meet it, basically. We'll create
Right.
a program pretty quick if we need to, or an individual service, a
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, like if you hear of a need, you've got a group of people and you can come up with and problem solve, basically.
That's what we do. We always try to fill gaps. We meet every week and look at what are gaps in the community. I will say this about our community, we have lots of wonderful providers of all of different nonprofits. We have an excellent community, and we work well together. We're not in competition. I was talking with Nicole this morning from Adam Bishop, just wonderful partnerships that we have.
Right.
The goal is to help people, and we can't see everybody. So, and there may be other people that can do something different that we can't do. So we need to know what each other can do. The community is great. Resources are abundant in our community. So we have a really great opportunity here for everybody to get help. And we look for those gaps. Where is there a gap that we can go to someone else? Maybe bring therapy to somebody or bring a resource to somebody. They may not can come to us.
Right. Well, and HEART started really a couple people, right?
Right. We started very small. Anthony and I started it, and we both came from another nonprofit that we ran for. Each of us ran that nonprofit for a while, and again, based on meeting the needs of our individual community, led us to say, hey, we need to probably, do something that we can be very independent in what we needed to do and
Right.
meet the needs. And
Right.
so we've grown rapidly. November will be starting our 3rd year. We'll be 3 years, starting our 4th year, actually. We started in 2022. But it's grown rapidly, and that just speaks to the need that's out there.
Yeah. And you guys, you said before we came on the air, you guys have close to 20 people on staff now?
We do.
I mean, that's a lot to grow in that amount of time, and it shows you the need that's here. What do you guys see as some of the biggest needs in the community as far as mental health goes?
What are you seeing, Alexander?
One thing I think is just have people having someone they could talk to. A lot of times they might be, we talked about off the air, about grandparents that might be raising their grandkids on their own and having to deal with the dynamics of them being from a different generation where technology is severely advanced in a short period of time. So, and also being able to give them a place to process grief. Sometimes they might have family members that might not really understand what they're experiencing. So for them to be able to get professional help to really process those feelings and not feel judged. And I think that's the biggest thing is a lot of people feel judged or might feel judged from family members or friends if they were to express how they really feel based on either the grief or the trauma they might experience in their life.
Right.
So it's comforting to be able to let people have an opportunity to express themselves without feeling judged.
Right. And I guess in the realm of mental health, everybody thinks, oh, it's just me. And so you're afraid to ask for help or things like that. When in reality, most of us are all going through some sort of situation where we either need somebody to talk to or we just need just some sort of help, And so I think the stigma of just let go of the stigma and ask for help might be one of the keys.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's great, at least now in popular culture, you got social media about being more open about mental health. You see athletes being more open about mental health, and which has been really great because back easily 25 years ago, you didn't hear anything about this. You didn't hear about, mental health, go talk to a therapist. You didn't hear that 20 years ago. So it's great to see that's advanced in popular culture as well, but also trying to break down that stigma about reaching out for help.
Yeah. I mean, back 25 years ago, it was toughen up a little bit. That's about the most help you could get.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think especially for men, men we teach our boys, our young boys, stop crying, toughen up, suck it up, that kind of thing. But we see all ages, we see all demographics. It's been a real eye-opener, and a lot we say trauma, but trauma can be a single incident, and COVID was a collective trauma.
Oh, exactly.
That we
yeah.
all experienced.
Yeah.
And we're still seeing our kids trying to navigate the anxiety of going back to school. There's that ripple effect of COVID is still happening. A lot of childhood trauma that adults have not processed things from childhood, and they're parenting from that. And so if we can heal a parent, that changes generations, and then helping that child, it just runs the gamut, helping them. So it's not, it's for everybody. Everybody, like you said, went through something. Either we went through something where our pastor says you either come out of something, you're in something, or you're probably going to be going into something down the road.
Right, yes.
We've experienced loss. You experience anxiety, you experience stress. We talked about empty nesting, and how do we work with adult children now? And that looks different than raising our children, but we're still their parent. And all these things are important to just talk about. And you may not need 6 months of therapy or a year of therapy. You may need however many sessions. We don't want you to come any more than you need.
Right.
And that's kind of bring us into why we started our walk-in clinic approach of you might just need today, I'm having a bad day.
Right.
I'm struggling today, and I need somebody to talk to.
And that's a good segue into that. The main reason that I contacted you guys, I wanted to have you on the air to tell people what Heart does, but you are about to start a walk-in clinic, and what's some of the details of that?
Our walk-in clinic that we're still working on, we're meeting actually today, every Thursday we work on it. We worked for months on it. It's going to be on Mondays. It's going to be from 9 to 12. We're not going to say our start date just yet. We want to make sure we're ready for the community because we're going to be limited in how many people we can see. We're going to have 3 or 4 therapists assigned that morning. So we're thinking, maybe 15 people or 18 people. We're still working on that because we want to give everybody some support sessions, 30 to 45 minutes, maybe support sessions and limited paperwork.
Right.
It will all be free because we are so fortunate to have grant funding. The Walker Area Community Foundation is a wonderful partner for us, and they've blessed us so much, and really without them, we would not even be able to do anything. So I think it's a barrier sometimes. People don't have insurance, or they can't even do a sliding scale or whatever. So the clinic's going to be free, and for ages 14 and older. And they can come in without an appointment and have a 30 or 45-minute session, and they can do that up to 3 times. And then that gives the counselors a chance to do some assessing, and if they need to make an appointment for more counseling, okay, we'll get you in with one of our therapists for something more regular. Or if you just need to come today because you're having a bad, grief is really bad, it's my child's birthday or whatever, and I'm struggling today, we can maybe give you some tips. The other thing with our, what we're going to do with the clinic is Linda Size is going to be doing our resources, and some people may come in and they may have food insufficiency, or insecurities and that kind of thing, or may need different resources. We're going to gather, so if anybody listening has any resources from their organization, if it's food banks, if it's housing, if it's whatever, we want to be able to hand them, when they walk out the door, more resources.
Right.
Not just come in and talk, but, okay, you need housing, this is where you can go to apply for housing, this is where you can go to get food, this is where you can go for A, B, or C.
Yeah.
So it's gonna really be, I think, another partnership with the community to give us all your resources, and we could just be another hub.
Right.
Of handing out resources when you leave the clinic. So we're gonna kind of do a little intake when they come in. Alexander or someone else will kind of triage quickly. Want it to be kind of be a fast process. It's
Yeah.
simple. Go through your therapy session, come out with some resources, and again, either make another appointment for dedicated therapy or just come back to the clinic again.
Right.
More times.
Well, and one of the things that that probably has been a big issue even with me is when you're looking to get help, and like with the other services that you might provide as far as giving the information, would there be somebody on staff too that can help those people actually contact somebody? Because sometimes that's the big, it's so overwhelming. I need this and I need this and I need this. Where do I even start? You know,
Right.
so is there somebody that could like help to kind of point them in the right direction, that sort of thing?
Like some case management or something.
Yeah, that type
We
of thing.
have an intern coming in, and that may be something that we can pull her in to kind of do some case management kind of thing. But we definitely, if somebody needs more help,
Yeah,
again, we have a lot of people. I've been doing this for 30-something years. It's second nature to me. It's my love. It's my passion. Along, everybody else on our team has the same exact passion.
Right.
So yes, if somebody needed us to stay long, they need to stay longer, and we needed to help something. Absolutely, whatever
Right.
we need to do.
well, and that's one of the things. What is it that led you guys personally into this role? Like especially when you and I were growing up, mental health was not something that everybody said, "Hey, I'm going to go and be mental health." You know, so where did that come from with you guys?
Yeah. Well, for me, growing up, a lot of times my friends would confide in me and ask me like for advice and things like that, and I would try to help them maybe decipher some of the things they were going through. So, going through college and things like that, I decided to go the social work route. So when I went and got my master's, went and worked in the community health setting. So I really wanted to reach out to people personally where they didn't have access, like limited access to care, might not have health insurance and things like that. And in my experience, a lot of times the people that might not have health insurance or might not have maybe experience in the health field or maybe didn't have great experiences in the health field, being able to work in that setting allowed me to be able to let them know, like, hey, mental health is something that's important, not just for, of course, your mental health, but also your physical health. So it was very rewarding to work with people that might not have had an opportunity to actually get professional mental health services.
Right, right. And I know you grew up in Piney Woods, Alabama.
Still there.
Yeah.
Still there. Old Piney Woods Road, be there forever. Yeah, my story is probably a little different. Of course, I'm a child of the 70s and grew up in poverty, single mother. My mother was French. My parents were divorced. My mother didn't, she spoke English that she taught herself, but she didn't drive. You know, we were just in poverty. My dad lived in another state and did the best he could to help support us with some child support. My mother didn't work. I mean, again, she couldn't, you know, again, you're thinking about the 70s and 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Woods, you're 20 minutes from anywhere. We still are.
Yeah.
But 3 older brothers, and so the poverty was one thing that was an issue in our home, a big issue. Transportation was an issue. We had food insecurities more than once. I do remember a church bringing us food before, you know, and I always think that I really tried hard to not let my friends know how bad I was, you know, the situation, because I always worked. I started working at 13. My brothers all started working. We brought money into the house. We paid for our own things. And so I thought in my little 13-year-old mind that I was doing a good job of pretending that I'm like every other kid. But I'm working every weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you know,
Right.
to pay for my clothes. And anyway, it was poverty, it was divorce, it was, I had a brother that got killed when I was 13 in a tragic accident, and then another brother at 15 got a tragic illness. So it was a lot of trauma.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I wasn't abused, thank God. You know, my mother never brought a boyfriend over. Like a lot of people we see, it tends to be, you know, different boyfriends coming in the home leads to other things when you have single parents. Not always, but I'm saying this is things we've seen.
Right.
I'm thankful that that did not happen in my home.
Right.
But all these other traumatic events happened, you know, and that led to anxiety. and all these things. And I went to college on a complete grant, 4 years.
Right.
You know, because when you're really poor, for 4 years you get to go for free.
Yeah.
And I went for finance. I'm a finance degree. I thought I'm going to bust out of Piney Woods and go to New York and be a stockbroker, and that's what my degree's in. And something happened while I was in college. I became a Christian. I was married as a teenager, got married young, still married, same guy, 36 years, and 2 wonderful kids. But because I was changed, the Lord changed my heart for service. And I finished that degree, and I never worked in it. I immediately went into DHR.
Right.
And started that whole process of working with people that were on welfare and working with homeless people, and it's just been my calling. It wasn't something I chose because I chose a different field. It was the Lord used my childhood, and you know, I always say nothing's ever wasted with the Lord. He doesn't waste anything. He used my childhood to create something, and I always say I'm still healing. I'm still, you know, I see kids come in and adults, and my heart's so happy because I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I wish I'd have had that, or my family could have had that, that my mother could have had that when she lost her son, my
Right.
brother.
Yeah.
You know, or somebody could have noticed us when I went back to school and my brother died and I was in 7th grade and nobody noticed, you know. And so from that, we've created Handle with Care, we've created Love Packs, we've created Secret Pantries, we've created a lot of programs just based out of my own childhood.
Right.
You know, and that's what I think is the beauty of Beauty for Ashes, you know, that the Lord can still heal and restore, and from that, other people are healed and restored.
Right.
And that's the whole point of what we're doing. And it's not just me, that Anthony, my partner, that same exact thing. We all have that same compassion. All of our people are wonderful. And that's just kind of how we started and why. And that's
Yeah.
what drives us, is still that need to just help. And our values are family, hope, and healing. Those are our core values that are on our wall and on everything. And we believe in our family, our work family, each other's families, and then the families of the community. You know, and there's always hope and there's always healing.
Yeah.
And that's what we believe, and that's what we get up every day and do with great gratitude for the opportunity to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you know, you said everybody in the group has that same compassion, and I would think that you have to, or they wouldn't last long at Heart, because just the people that I've met from Heart, it's such a, just like, you can see it on your face, you know.
We're some passionate people.
Yeah, yeah.
We're passionate.
It's either be as passionate as you guys are or get out of the way,
That's
probably,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing for Walker County. I want to remind everybody we're talking with representatives from Heart. It's a Thursday morning, and we'll be back after a quick commercial break. I want you guys to hear from Young's Jewelers. They're sponsoring the show now, and we sure do appreciate them. So let's get a commercial break in with Young Jewelers, and then we'll be right back with Live at 9 with James Phillips.
Whatever, they don't know.
And we're back on Live at 9 with James Phillips. And this morning we've got representatives from Heart here. And we were just talking about some of the different things that Heart does in the community. You've got the new walk-up therapy sessions that'll be coming up. And you said you don't have a date yet for the start, right?
Right, we're still working on it, and want to make sure all the kinks are worked out. Our biggest concern, we know we can do the therapy. You know, we're at the first floor of Synovus Bank downtown. And
Right.
so,
That was the next question I was going to ask, is tell everybody where you're
yeah,
at.
so that's where we are, and we are, again, our community partners, the bank has blessed us. Oh my goodness, we are so fortunate to be at the bank, but it's not a big area for waiting room and that kind of thing, you know, so we're trying to do the best we can. So we don't want to have too many people come to the clinic where we have an overflow, because again, we can only serve so many, and we don't want to turn people away. So we're going to try to educate the community in the next few weeks about the clinic, what cases we can see, what we can't see, and I can just tell you briefly,
Yeah.
things that we do not provide, we will not provide from the clinic. We will not provide access to medications or medication management, assessments, psychiatric services, or emergency mental health treatment. Anybody that's actively suicidal or in imminent danger to themselves or others, you know, but we have resources we'll give them. You need to go to the ER, you can call 911 or your other suicide line or Northwest Mental Health or other options. We will give them all resources. And the other thing is, if we do have overflow, we're not just going to say, well, I'm sorry, we can't do anything for you. We're going to have pastors on site. We have a chaplain on duty. We work with right now, Pastor James from the Methodist Church is our chaplain on duty. So if anybody needs pastoral care, even outside of coming to counseling,
Right.
you know, he's there. And we're going to try to have different pastors that can rotate at the clinic. So if we have overflow, they can have the opportunity to get resources that will, you know, Linda or any of our team will providing resources. They'll have the chance to make an appointment, come back the next week, or talk to the chaplain. So we want to at least give everybody something to leave with, but we still don't want to have like crowd management kind of thing. You know, we may
Right.
have nobody show up, and we may have too many people show up. So we're going to really try to tell people come early. That way, if we know we've already got 15 people, we're at our max for the day. We only can do what we can do. You know,
Right.
we can't even physically have a lot of people at that location. So
Right.
I think it's going to be a little work in progress, you know, so we can kind of do it a few times and see. Our heart's there. We just don't want to upset or disappoint anybody. We want everybody to get the help they need and access to our great counselors. So it might take a little bit of us working out some kinks, but
And did you say it's going to be certain days of the week?
Monday mornings from
Monday
9
mornings,
to
okay,
12.
yeah.
And right now, we think our check-in process is like 8:30 to 11:30, because then they have regular counseling sessions they see all afternoon into the evening.
Right.
So we can't just totally wear out our counselors, because it's going to be more rapid support sessions than an entire
Right.
intake process, so.
And what is kind of for people who want to get started, what's kind of the intake process? How do they contact you guys, just overall, to be able to start getting services?
They can just call our main number, our 582-4345. They can go to our website and do a contact form there, and we'll call them back. We do accept most insurances, but we always say, don't let that hold you back. You know,
Right.
if you can't pay, my goal, and I know the team's goal, is to be the St. Jude's of mental health. You know, no
Right.
one's turned away because you can't pay.
Right.
And again, we'll try to work something out. If you just can't pay it all, we believe everybody should have access to quality mental health in a beautiful place. We try to make our place smell good and look good and be comfortable, so people come in feeling safe and welcome, and our staff's very welcoming, and we water and coffee and just a relaxed environment. So they're coming in with something. We want them to not have anxiety about where they are, you
Right,
know, and to feel
yeah.
safe. This is a safe place to talk and that kind of thing. So we're excited about the clinic. We're a little, you know, so it's a little, we don't know. I mean, it's new. We have ideas, and you know, we know the Lord's behind these things, and it will work out. Our biggest thing is we don't want to disappoint people.
Right.
That's overflow. So that's kind of our main concern, but we're trying to mitigate that and coming up with some ideas about that.
Well, and really just to ask people to be patient those first few times.
That's
and
right.
As you guys work out the bugs, and
Right.
and I'm sure probably you guys see, if somebody just comes in off the streets, 9 times out of 10 they probably just need somebody to talk to.
Right.
And as long as you're not just letting them sit there, I would think they would be happy to have anybody with a smiling face come up and
Right.
say, hey, how can I help you today?
And
You
so
know?
our normal intake process, if somebody was just calling for therapy, they would just call our, again, or send in a request on our website. We'll get back with them, get some information from them, and then Alexander or one of the other therapists will do the intake and kind of decide. We have so many therapists, and they have different specialties. And so if, for instance, and Alexander, you can talk about this, if you do an intake and you think it's not a right fit for you, what you do from that point.
Yeah. Usually if I meet with someone that I feel like would do better with maybe with another therapist with either a specialty and things like that, just do a referral, talk with one of our other counselors and see if they feel comfortable meet with them.
Right.
If not, maybe see if you might need to refer out. So that's the one thing really, that's the point of the intake, is to really get like a general history of the person, what they're experiencing, what they might experience in the past, what are some of the goals, and then getting a good general understanding of what that person's experiencing as a whole, and then seeing if those services can be continued with you, or if they need to go to another therapist that can maybe meet those needs.
Right, yeah. And I'm sure you've got, what, did you say 6 therapists on staff? So, I mean, out of 6, there's got to be somebody that's going to fit almost everybody's personalities and that sort of thing, and issues that they have.
Yeah, do you want to talk about the things that we don't treat at the office on a normal basis?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I think some of the clients that we might have is specifically depending on the level of autism spectrum disorder. I know that's one where a lot of times you need to have a therapist that is specialized working with those clients. I'm trying to think of some other ones that.
We don't do medication.
Medication, that's right. Not
Yeah.
medication management, because we don't have a nurse, I guess, on staff, or a psychiatrist or an MD. So
Right,
we don't do medication
it's just
management.
therapy. It's,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's what people should know. Yeah, don't come in looking for medications.
Yeah, yeah.
But you could probably get them to the right
Yes,
place
absolutely.
for that.
Yes,
you know.
yes. We can should give them resources to primary care physicians in the area for them to be able to seek that medication.
Right. And I think one of the things that you mentioned, Tina, too, was somebody who's actively suicidal. Because you think, oh, it's a walk-in clinic. I woke up this morning and I feel like I'm going to do something. But that's still not the place to go. But I'm sure you guys would be helpful in that situation to get them to the right place.
Right, and we've had clients that come in for their sessions, and through talking and through assessments, they are actively, or they have a plan, all the
Right.
things that they ask about and the different assessments that they do. Some people have suicidal ideation.
Right.
Some people take it all the way to, yeah, I've got a plan, and
Right.
okay, well then you can't leave here.
Right, yeah.
Like that, that happens, it happens with young people and of all ages. And we see, again, the gamut of little kids with anxiety, little bitty kids
Yeah.
that are, again, like we talked about, if we had anxiety at 5 or 6 years old, number one, we didn't know it was anxiety.
Right.
Nobody told
Yeah.
us it was.
Yeah.
And you still get up and go to school, and you're still expected to do whatever. And I think we functioned a lot of our lives that way, kind of almost in our fight and flight freeze part of our brain.
Yeah.
And I know I have. I didn't know until I started getting into all the therapy and learning and doing different certifications that I have, how much of my own life I've lived in that part of my brain, that you don't even get to your executive function.
Right,
because
yeah.
you're just like white knuckling life.
Yeah.
Because of trauma that wasn't processed or healed or anything like that.
Well, and I know, I mean, just with my own children, I've been there and I've seen the anxiety start at such a young age. One of my daughters, she would tell you now that the first time that she ever thought that she might not want to be here was like 7 years old. And she's the daughter that none of us would have recognized that in,
Right.
And so being able to find people who can help, and I guess just for listeners at home or who are out riding around or whatever, one thing in talking about somebody who might be suicidal is how serious people should take that. And so if you have a friend that tells you they're in that thought process, you need to not just say, oh, you'll be fine. Like, you need to help them find some help.
Exactly. We have lifeline cards like that. I used to do a lot of suicidal classes in schools and stuff that I would give all to the kids. And it's basically, if someone tells you that they're experiencing this, or especially if they have a plan or whatever,
Yeah.
you don't leave them. There, you call the suicide hotline if you have to. If not, get them to a trusted adult.
Right.
Get them to some medical care. Yeah, the main thing is stay with somebody. You
Yeah.
know, they don't need to be alone. And then try to figure out, you don't have to be a psychiatrist or a counselor. You can just, you know, call the hotline. They'll direct you or get with somebody trusted. It really happens, and there's help out there, you know. And
Yeah.
I think the other thing, I know from having my 2 children that are now grown, it's a different world for kids now. There's a lot of pressure
Yeah.
to be the best and, you know, to succeed and to have all these pressures at school. And I think sometimes as parents, I recognize this myself as a parent, especially for my son. My oldest was my son, firstborn, putting that pressure on him, not even realizing it, you know.
Right,
And
yeah.
again, it was more for, I didn't get to participate in things in school because of my upbringing, but I was going to make sure that he did everything,
Right,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and he was the best at everything, and he was the class president every year, and blah, 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 blah. And I realized I was probably making him have a high level of expectation to live up to, and that kind of pressure can make kids have a lot of anxiety and even be, can cause a lot of suicidal thoughts, you know,
Right,
if they think,
yeah.
I can't live up to these expectations. We have a lot of people that are going through identity issues.
Right.
That brings on a whole lot of anxiety and, you know, family dynamics, and then you add faith into that. And I will say we are a not a Christian nonprofit as far as filing, but we are Christians who run a nonprofit.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so we are very much faith-based, and that's where we come from. But with that, we can offer Christian-based therapy, but we do not, and you can talk about that, because I think there might be some misunderstanding of what Christian therapy is. That's, you know, if they choose that, they ask for that. And you can talk a little bit about those kind of, if somebody comes in about their faith, or they may have different faith. Their faith may not be Christianity.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one thing too when the intake process is asking if you have a religious belief, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, and incorporating that in the therapy for them, even though maybe the therapist or counselor might not be maybe part of that religion, but it is important for their healing process, especially if there's certain values or core values that they developed in their family, in their culture, and things like that to help them in that healing process. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that people may come in with a misconception about if they hear that you guys are Christian counselors. You're not using that as a way to like reach people. This isn't an evangelical thing. This is, you know, just who you are, and that's the reason that you're wanting to help people.
Right.
And you're not trying to convert anybody to anything. You're just there to help people, you know.
No.
Exactly. And that's the one thing where therapists and counselors, their job is to help that person guide through their own journey and not maybe impose maybe some of their personal beliefs on their client. So really helping them work through those things at their pace and at their comfort level.
Right, yeah. And I'm sure you guys do see all types of people with problems across the spectrum.
Yes.
So
Now, if they do want prayer,
you can offer that
we
too,
can
right?
do that. We
Yeah.
can do that.
Yeah,
For sure.
I've done that with my counselor before. So,
Yeah.
well, anything else you guys can think of that's coming up with Heart that people should know about, or?
I think we're just, we're really excited about the clinic, and we just want we want it to be well for people, we want it to go well. And I think if anybody has any questions, you know, or whatever, call us. We would love people to come by. If they want to have a tour of what, you know, where we are and what we do,
Yeah.
call me, I'll walk them through, and we're happy to talk with people. We can do a 15-minute consultation if someone thinks, I don't know if therapy's right for me. Okay, well, talk to Alexander for 15 minutes on
Right.
the phone or something, or come by, you know, maybe baby steps to where you feel comfortable. One thing I love about being at the bank is we have people on the third floor, other businesses.
Right.
The bank's on the second floor. You're parking in the bank parking lot. No one knows if you're coming to counseling or to see your attorney or
Right.
to go to the bank or
Yeah.
to go to the Realtors Association. So it's, you know, you have a lot of being anonymous out there, you
Yeah.
know, and plus we really value anyone's privacy. Of course, we're mandated by that anyway, but we just love on people. And again, there's lots of great people doing great things. I think we're just part of the solution. But if you don't come to us, go somewhere. I would say there's lots of great places. Try out, and all therapists is not a one size fits all.
Right,
You try one and you're not a good match. Try again. Don't give up.
Yeah.
You know, do not give up.
Yeah. Well, and one thing with you guys, you didn't expect the growth that you've seen already. Do you have a 5-year plan? Like what comes next, or
Well,
can you even imagine?
We hit our 5-year plan at year 1.
Right.
Yeah, Anthony and I, we sit down every year and do goals and do plans. We're like, okay, we did that. That happened so fast, so we're always in a strategic, I think actually Anthony and Leslie Hartley are probably doing strategic planning right now, so we're always in planning because of the growth, and then adding other counties that we weren't expecting that quickly to add,
Yeah.
logistically and things. So we're really just counting on the Lord to give us wisdom. And if the need's there, the grants to come in and help fund it, because our counselors are mainly grant funded, because we do so much for free.
Yeah.
We don't bring in enough, just the honest truth is, we do not bring in enough revenue off people's insurance to cover
Right.
a
Yeah.
meal
the
of what we
services, yeah.
do. I mean, it's only because of our funding that we're able to cover our counselors and our staff.
Well, and you guys are a nonprofit, so how can people help with that as well? Do you guys do fundraisers throughout the year, or just anytime somebody wants to make a donation, or monthly donations?
They can donate off our website. We have Venmo. They can call me. Sometimes I'll do a Facebook post. We do warmies usually for our little kids that come in, and a lot of people would donate warmies. It's a therapy tool that we use that counselors can use, that the kids can take something home, or books. A lot of books they can use in the session, and then they can take it home. So therapy is not just a 1-hour thing. It can continue throughout the week for the kids. So if anybody wants to donate, warmies, and I know when like my little grandbabies picked out a warmie for themselves, I can buy one and give one,
Right.
So anything like that, it goes a long way. We are very short of warmies. I found that out yesterday. We run through them pretty quickly. So they're about $25, to purchase one. We're always needing that. Of course, just different donations. We do a lot of toiletries we give out. So anything like that, it's all tax deductible, of course. But
Yeah.
if they want to give $1 million, we'll take $1 million. They
No.
give $10, we'll take $10. It all works together.
Right.
So the Lord can bless it and make it grow, and that's we are very good stewards of every penny. We do always work on our stewardship.
Now, does the secret pantry still run through Heart too, or is that a different
Well,
function?
that was what I did through.
I know you did it with leadership.
Leadership, so I
Yeah.
still run that.
Because we had Linda and Kim on the other
Yes.
day, and the secret pantry was one of the former projects that we
Yeah,
brought
I'm
up.
still doing it. I do
Yeah.
it because the Walker Area Community Foundation, that's where the funding is at.
Yeah.
So how that works is, we're doing one right now, actually today. If the school calls me needing a pantry or needing supplies, I'll order it. I'll just drop ship it to that school, and then usually I'll just turn my receipts into the foundation and they'll reimburse me. So
Right.
that's how we do the secret pantry. So it's not
Yeah.
a Heart thing.
Right.
It was just something that came out of that group, and it's still going, and it's wonderful. And we do the love pack, so if children have lost someone throughout the year, they let us know, and I'll love pack ready from their gender and their age, and comfort items, and I'll send it to the school.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have Heart anywhere on there, because it's
Yeah.
not about us. It's
Right.
about this child was noticed in their pain, and they had a backpack waiting full, or an overnight bag, but it's a teenage girl. We give them something nicer,
Yeah.
everything. So if they want to donate to the love packs, whatever somebody's passion is, that they relate to, that you want to donate, we've got something that will fit that
Right.
category.
That's awesome, though. Just the lives that have been affected by Heart in a couple of years is amazing. So I hope you guys keep having great success, and the
Thank
growth
you.
continues.
Thank you
and-
for having us.
Yeah,
and
whatever
thank you
we
to
can
our
do.
community.
Always let us know when you have something going on. We're happy to spread the word. If you don't come in, we'll put it out there one way or the other. So,
Okay.
and then people will see on our Facebook page today. We'll put out information that you guys have, just to get contact information and things like that out to folks.
Okay.
So, well, thank you guys for coming today. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for listening. Tomorrow on Live at 9, our special guest is going to be the new principal at Jasper High School, Patrick Darwin. Can't wait to have him in. He's canceled on me a couple times, so I got to give him a hard time. He says I'm flexible. I told him I'm the most flexible one-legged guy in Jasper. And but he'll be here tomorrow morning and talk about the new school year and things that are going on at Jasper High School. And then also tomorrow evening, don't forget that it's going to be the Jamboree with Jasper hosting Gardendale. It'll be myself and Woody Wilson on the air. Can't wait to kind of knock the rust off for football season. And then next week, football season kicks in full gear. So thank you guys for listening so far this week on Live at 9. Thanks for Terrell Manasco to be in the background here filming for us. And then coming up next, we got Woody Wilson, the professor of rock and roll, be here at 10 a.m. And get ready for class because he's got plenty of stuff today to teach you all sorts of things about rock and roll for the next few hours. Until tomorrow, I'm James Phillips, and this has been Live at 9.